So, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Is my audio clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, our lesson for today is defining and non-defining relative clause. Before we start the discussion, I'm going to present a picture and I'm going to give a situation. So, imagine that we're friends and one of you asks me, who's the one I like among those girls? So, and my answer is, I like the girl who is wearing a pink headband. So, based on my answer, who do you think is the one I like? Can someone please state her name?
De La Cruz po.
Okay, Mr. De La Cruz.
It is Olivia po
How did you know?
because she is wearing pink headband po.
Okay, very good. So here our underline word is who is wearing a pink headband. So what can you notice about the underlined phrase? Anyone?
Raimundo, ma'am.
Okay, Raimundo.
It starts with a relative pronoun.
Okay, thank you. So always remember that a relative clause starts with a relative pronoun. So this sentence is an example of a defining relative clause. So what can you notice about the defining relative clause? It comes after a, what is that word? What parts of speech is that? Anyone?
Raimundo, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Raimundo.
A noun.
Very good. It is a noun. So always remember that a defining relative clause comes after a noun. So let's move. So here again, here is our example. I like the girl who is wearing a pink headband. What do you think will happen if we remove the relative clause there? We'll end up with the sentence I like the girl. Do you think it still makes sense? Yes or no?
Yes po.
Yes. How can you say so? Mr. De La
Espineta
Cruz.
po. Ay.
Okay. Okay, go on, Mrs. Pineda.
Because it has a subject, which is I, a verb, like, and an object of the verb, still a sentence with a complete thought.
Okay, very good. So it follows the pattern SVO. So but what if you ask me and that's my answer? Can you still identify who's the girl I like and the picture? Yes or no? Anyone? If we removed it, do you still think that do you do you still will you be able to identify who's the one I like on the
No,
on
ma'am.
the
No.
picture? No. Why? Because because
Ma'am.
okay.
Ma'am Raimundo
Okay,
po.
Miss Raimundo.
Because it is the girl who's wearing a pink headband.
Okay, because it is not stated in the sentence. It means that therefore what can you conclude about defining relative clause? It adds an defining relative clause are anyone? It adds
Information po about about the noun or the
o-
subject.
okay, very good. So it means that it adds an important information. It means that it cannot be removed. Okay? So
Yes po,
what
ma'am.
okay, very good. So thank you. What if we replace the word who with the word that? Do you think it is acceptable? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Always remember that in defining relative clause, It is allowed to replace uh, relative pronouns such as who, were, whom with the word that in spoken English. So now that you know the characteristics of a defining relative clause, I want you to create your own sentence based on our picture. Use my example as your guideline. It's your guide. So let's start with Miss Espineda. Miss Espineda.
I like the girl who wears a yellow blouse.
Okay, thank you. So guys, who do you think is the one she likes? Can someone please state her name?
Andrea.
Okay, very good, Miss Raimundo. So next one, Mr. De La Cruz.
I like the girl who is on the far left po.
Okay,
Far
far
left.
left. Thank you, Mr. De La Cruz. Now, who do you think is the one he likes? Anyone?
Emma.
Emma. Very good. So, last, Miss Raimundo.
Okay, ma'am. I like the girl who has blonde hair.
Okay, thank you, Miss Raimundo. Now, who do you think is the one she likes?
Stephanie po.
Okay, very good. Now that you know the characteristics of a defining relative clause, let's move on to the non-defining relative clause. So, here is a picture again. Scenario is I'm the one on the picture, imagine, and then I told you this book, which I am reading, is my favorite. So earlier we said that a relative clause starts with a what is the start of a relative clause? Anyone? A relative, guys?
Pronoun po, relative
Okay,
pronoun.
very good. Now, knowing that characteristic, what do you think is the relative clause in this sentence? Can someone please identify the relative clause used in the sentence?
Raimundo, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Raimundo.
Which I am reading po.
Okay, very good. That's the relative clause in the sentence. So that's an example of a non-defining relative clause. So earlier you saw an example of defining relative clause. What have you noticed? What do you think is the difference between a defining and non-defining relative clause? Anyone?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. De La
The,
Cruz.
when we say non-relative, non-defining relative
Non-defining.
clause, non-defining relative clause, it have two commas po.
Okay, it is between two commas. Very good. That's a good observation. So, in undefining relative clause, it is separated by a comma. So, earlier we tried to remove the relative clause in the sentence. Let's do the same here. So, let's remove it. We'll end up with this book is my favorite. Do you think that the that sentence is acceptable? Yes or no?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes, why? How can you say so, Mr. De La Cruz?
Because it refers to the book which is your favorite po.
But even if it is removed, it doesn't matter. Therefore, it just add
Additional information po.
very good. Now, what if we try to replace the word which with the word that, similar to what we did earlier? We'll end up with a sentence, this book that I am reading is my favorite. Do you think that is acceptable? Yes or no?
No.
Why?
Because it doesn't sound right, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Um, always remember that in non-defining relative clause, it is not allowed for you to replace the relative pronouns with the word that, unlike in the defining relative clause. Okay? Now that you know the uh, characteristics of non-defining relative clause, I want you to construct your own sentence following my example. Let's start with Miss Raimundo.
This pen, which I am holding, has a blank black ink.
Okay, very good. Uh, Next, Miss Espineda.
These papers which are thick are mine.
Very good. Lastly, Sir, no, Mr. De La Cruz.
This watch, which is mine, is not working.
Very good. Before we end our discussion, I want can someone please summarize the characteristics of a defining relative clause? Anyone?
Ma'am, De La
Okay,
Cruz
Mr.
po.
De La Cruz. Go.
A defining relative clause, it adds important information po about the subject and it comes after a noun. Then relative pronouns used are replaceable with the word that in spoken English po.
Okay, very good. How about the non-defining relative clause? Can someone please summarize it? Anyone? Okay, Miss Raimundo.
Non-defining relative clauses are used to add extra information about the subject. This means that even if it is removed, the sentence will still be the same. Also, it is separated by a comma, and unlike in defining relative clauses, the pronouns cannot be replaced by the word that.
Very good. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.